In 2001, Hollywood was rocked by a couple of kids, but these weren't just any normal kids. They were spy kids. Director Robert Rodriguez wanted to make a film that his children would like, which paved the way for Spy Kids, a family film that gave audiences of all ages a taste of James Bond for younger viewers. In the popular summer movie season, Spy Kids made a big splash, and parents and children had a lot of fun getting swept away by the exciting action and family-friendly comedy. Because of that, the first Spy Kids film was a big hit and spawned multiple sequels. But did it also spawn multiple careers too? Many years have passed since Spy Kids took over the movie theaters, which means it's easy to lose track of some of the performers who appeared in it. Let's take a look back at the stars of Spy Kids and see what they did after the smash hit cast them into the limelight. Robert Rodriguez chose a very special cast to make his film, so let's see what happened to all of them. Number 7, Alexa Vega.
Your name?
Carmen Cortez?
Your full name, please.
I don't use my full name, it's too long.
Of course, if we're talking about Spy Kids, we have to talk about the kids at the center of it all, right? So let's start with Alexa Vega, who played Carmen, the daughter of Gregorio and Ingrid, two adult spies who were attempting to keep their secret careers hidden from their children. Alexa had been acting for years before she was cast in the film, but this was clearly her big break. A movie like this can really turn a young actress into a superstar. Since Spy Kids and its immediate sequels, Alexa seemed to be all over the place. Vanity Fair called her one of the hottest teen celebrities, and she had a few projects lined up, but we haven't seen too much of her recently. She popped up in a few TV movies and lesser-known films after the final Spy Kids film. She also appeared in a few more movies from Robert Rodriguez like Sin City and Machete Kills. Alexa's also had a music career too. She sang multiple songs for the Spy Kids films and then recorded some more for Repo, the Genetic Opera, a film she co-starred in 2008. In 2009, she also released a Christmas song for the ABC Family film that she appeared in. Lately, Alexa has been finding a lot of success with her voice in another way, lending it to multiple animated shows like The Loud House and The Casa Grandes. Number 6, Daryl Sabara.
What are you doing?
World's smallest cameras. I just placed them all over the main hallways.
Carmen Cortez wouldn't have been able to do anything if it wasn't for her rambunctious but brilliant little brother, Junie. Played by Daryl Sabara, he was something of a comic relief and won audiences over right away. Following the conclusion of the Spy Kids series, Daryl tried to set on his own and create a career that would lead to great success well into his adulthood. He popped up in several TV shows such as Friends, Fatherhood, and Dr. Vegas. He was also a cast member in the hugely popular Christmas film The Polar Express.
Well, you coming?
Where?
He also appeared in Christmas Carol, The Polar Express follow-up, also from director Robert Zemeckis. Daryl has done more and more adult fare as he's grown older, such as Machete, Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, John Carter, and the television series Grimm. Lately, he's best known as a voice actor for the Ben 10 television series and has also appeared
Not even nature can ruin this tennis and popcorn party!
in multiple music videos for his wife, pop star Meghan Trainor. Although his career hasn't reached the heights of Spy Kids yet, he is still consistently getting work in Hollywood. Number 5, Antonio Banderas.
Clever.
Antonio Banderas was the perfect choice to portray Gregorio Cortez in the Spy Kids films, and he did it so perfectly. He delivered a perfect mix of suave charm, action star strength, and classical good looks. Of course, Banderas was a huge star before the Spy Kids films came out, and he's been doing a lot of great things since the final movie premiered. Since Spy Kids wrapped up, Banderas has done some other family films too. He's played Puss in Boots in the Shrek films, as well as spin-off films that have made tons of money at the box office.
Puss, can you help us? There's no time to waste. I will do it.
He's also done some more mature movies like The Skin I Live In and Pain and Glory, from which he earned an Oscar nomination in 2019. Banderas has also shown off more of his acting chops, appearing in The Legend of Zorro, The Expendables 3, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Most recently, audiences got to see Antonio play alongside Harrison Ford in the latest Indiana Jones film. Number 4, Carla Gugino.
They retired, settled down, had a few kids. In a way, they exchanged one life of adventure for another.
Every spy needs a good teammate, and Gregorio's happened to be his lovely wife, Ingrid, played by Carla Gugino. Since the Spy Kids films premiered nearly 20 years ago, Carla's career has flourished in some very big ways, and she is still a sought-after actress who who has showcased a ton of talents in many different types of projects. Carla Gugino is one of those actresses who you've seen just about everywhere. She was the lead star in the short-lived Karen Sisko series back in 2004, right after the third Spy Kids film. From there, she popped up in Sin City, Night at the Museum, and then Zack Snyder's Watchmen adaptation.
To the bone, if your time.
If you didn't see her in those, you likely caught Carla in Race to Witch Mountain, Man of Steel, or the Dwayne Johnson action film San Andreas. Or maybe you're an Entourage fan and you saw her multiple appearances in that show. From the Superman movie Man of Steel to the highly acclaimed Stephen King adaptation Gerald's Game, Carla Gugino has been getting a lot of work since Spy Kids wrapped up. Most recently, you likely heard about her performance in the Netflix series The Fall of the House of Usher, which received rave reviews and had some people thinking she would win multiple awards. Carla's career hasn't slowed down since Spy Kids, and it shows no signs of stopping. Number 3, Danny Trejo.
Not anymore. Machete's not responsible for nobody but Machete.
What would a Robert Rodriguez film be without Danny Trejo? Over the years, these two men have made multiple films together, including the popular Machete movies. Speaking of Machete, that is who Danny played in Spy Kids. However, it's not the same Machete that slashed his way through a bunch of bad guys a few years later. This was a much more family-friendly character who happened to share the same name. Trejo has been wildly successful since the Spy Kids movies and has appeared in dozens upon dozens of movies and TV shows. He lent his voice to Grand Theft Auto Vice City and also Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. He also briefly popped up in Anchorman as well as Rob Zombie's Halloween. Of course, most people know Trejo from the Machete films, which amassed a big cult following over the years. But he's done so much more than that, appearing in Predators, Sons of Anarchy, and a TV version of From Dusk Till Dawn. He was also spotted in episodes of Breaking Bad too. These days, Danny is doing a mix of animated projects and action films, and he's also not against doing more family content, as he's appeared in Disney's Monsters at Work multiple times. With a face, voice, and personality that's almost impossible to forget, Danny Trejo's been doing a lot in the years since we said goodbye to Spy Kids. Number 2, Alan Cumming.
I have found little use for them except as novelties on my children's show. Currently rated number 2.
Fagin Floop is a name that you can't forget, and Alan Cumming created a villain that was just as memorable. The Scottish actor already had an impressive career before he signed up for Spy Kids, and since the film concluded, he's been seen in a number of big projects. His biggest film was the second X-Men film where he played Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. Of course, no one would blame you if you didn't know that was him under all that blue makeup.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
The man who played Floop encountered a few flops too, such as the disliked sequel to Jim Carrey's The Mask and the Cher Christina Aguilera musical Burlesque. When it comes to TV, Cumming has had tons of luck thanks to his talent. He starred in multiple seasons of the hit drama The Good Wife.
So this is the kitchen cabinet?
Yep.
And this must be the faked photo. Do you have the original?
He earned 3 Emmy nominations for his work on that show, which concluded in 2016. Lately, Cumming has done a lot of work on children's shows, offering his soothing voice to a number of shows like Evergreen and The Prince. Number 1, Teri Hatcher. Finally, we have the mysterious Mr. Gridenko, played by Teri Hatcher, who had appeared in a number of well-known movies and shows before Spy Kids. So, how did she do after the movie? Right after Spy Kids came out, Hatcher landed a starring role in Desperate Housewives, which ended up being one of the biggest shows of the decade.
Is it common for patients to have sex dreams about the husbands of their dead donors?
Teri earned a ton of praise for her work on the show, and it gave her career a huge boost of energy. It seemed like Teri Hatcher was everything during this time, and she was on the cover of magazines, appearing on many talk shows, and showed up at just about every award show as Desperate Housewives remained wildly popular and continually sat at the top of the ratings. But eventually that show came to an end, and we stopped seeing much of Hatcher. But even though she wasn't on the biggest show on TV, she didn't stop working. Teri appeared in Coraline and the Disney films Planes, plus the sequel Planes, Fire and Rescue. By the time the 2010s rolled around, we didn't see as much of Teri Hatcher. She lent her talents to the Odd Couple series and appeared in multiple episodes of Supergirl. Lately, she's mostly been spending her time making TV movies, including a couple of Christmas films. Her career isn't thriving like it was during the Spy Kids and Desperate Housewives days, but she is still spotted in a number of movies and shows.